Good afternoon. Happy Tuesday to you, and welcome to Thinking Tuesday. On this weekly platform, as some of you know, we take time to evaluate our mindset, our thoughts, how they're driving our behavior, and determine if they are serving us well. And if they're not, how to get rid of them. We are willing to make changes where changes are needed to allow us to be more successful in what we're trying to achieve. That's the purpose of Thinking Tuesday, and I'm glad that you're joining me again today. We are always trying to achieve something. We're trying to grow ourselves personally and professionally, and so we have to be really aware of what we're thinking, whether it's in our personal lives or professional lives. So we have to become aware of what is driving us and whether it's driving us towards what we want to achieve or away from what we're trying to achieve, because we don't want to be wasting our time. So we want to be aware of what our thoughts are telling us, how they're driving us. Is it towards what we want to attain or away from that? So, as you know, our slogan, which is our guiding principle on Thinking Tuesday, is that your mind is a garden and your thoughts are the seeds, and that you can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. And those weeds are the thoughts that choke out those positive thoughts that help you to create a positive mindset. As in any garden, in our mind's garden, we want to cultivate a positive mindset. And we do so by becoming more aware of what thoughts we are subscribing to, how they're serving us, how they're helping us to grow and move towards our goals, as I said before, the lifestyle we want to achieve, and to get rid of those weeds or negative self limiting thoughts that lead to behaviors that move us away from what we would achieve. So that's what Thinking Tuesday is all about, helping to do a reset if we have to, or certainly move ahead if we're moving in the right direction. So lately, one of the things that I've been focusing on a lot is commitment. We all talk about commitment. I'm committed to do this, I'm committed to do that. And I've been doing a lot of thinking about what commitment really means and how does it really work. What am I committing to, and how can I grow in the area of fulfilling my commitments that I make to myself? Yes, we should make commitments to others also, but we need to make a commitment to ourselves. We have to lead ourselves first. And so we make certain commitments about who we want to be, what we want to have, how we want to show up, the kind of lifestyle we want to have. That's a commitment to ourselves. Because if we don't commit to ourselves and improving ourselves, we can't commit to anything else. So it's easy to talk the talk, and it does not cost us much to dream or to talk, certainly. But the journey to dream is often very, very easy. And it's not easy because the commitment is challenging to attain your dream. So it's easy to dream, but the journey is not. It takes commitment. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Especially when you don't know what you don't know, it's hard to make a commitment. And we do it with all good intentions, but sometimes we don't follow through. And there are reasons why we don't follow through. So before making a commitment, we become aware of our intention. We all have intentions, good intentions. We have good intentions. For instance, we want to improve our marriage. We want to improve our relationships. We want to improve our physical health. We want to improve our spiritual or professional or financial life. There's so many areas that we intend to change. And that's the operative word, intend. Or we want to improve as we move forward, making a commitment. But we are often not aware of what that is what our intentions are and what they can be, how they can be derailed. You know, we have the intentions, but we are not always aware of those things that can derail our intentions and not allow us to move towards our commitment. Our thoughts might be positive, I'm sure they are, but that may be the only thing that we are aware of, what our thoughts are. We are aware of positive thoughts and our desire. We are aware of our desire to make a change. Some of you might remember, for instance, some of you might remember the movie Titanic. That's a very, very popular movie. It's been shown so many times. It's one of those icons of the movies, right? But in the Titanic, you remember that it sank. It sank during its first 4 days of the maiden voyage back in 1912. Everybody wanted to get to the Titanic. The Titanic sank because it struck a huge iceberg in the North Atlantic Ocean. It was well made, but it struck a huge iceberg. What was seen was only the tip of that huge iceberg. The majority of it was submerged under the sea. So they just saw the tip of it. In fact, they didn't see it in time, but when they did see it, they just saw the tip of it. So for a moment, I want to use that metaphor of the iceberg to describe the human mind, our mind, because we are only aware of a small percentage, some say maybe 10% of our thoughts and our emotions at any given time. The other 90% is hidden under the surface, similar to that iceberg. Our thoughts and our emotions, a lot of what we do are driven by thoughts and emotions that are below the surface that we cannot see. They're in our subconscious or our unconscious. But nevertheless, even though we can't see them, we are affected by them, and we are driven by what is below the surface. So what we see, the actions that we portray, the things that we say, the feelings that we express, start below the surface. We just see the results of that. So what does this have to do with commitment? I'm sure you're asking. What does this have to do with commitment? The fact that our minds are like icebergs, that we are only aware of a certain percentage of what drives our actions and our thoughts, because all of the rest are below the surface. What does this have to do with commitment? Well, in order to commit to something, you have to be aware, right? You have to be aware of your intentions. And when we state our intentions, we are only stating what we are aware of. But we also have intentions that are hidden below the surface. That's the part below the sea level in the iceberg, if we're using that metaphor. So those intentions are hidden and we're not really aware of them. And many times they are in conflict with what we state as our intentions. So how does that affect our ability to follow through with our commitment? No matter how sincere we may be. Because we might have this strong desire to commit to something. But if we're not aware of the conflict between our stated intentions and our hidden intentions, it can prevent us from moving forward to attain what we're seeking, what we're trying to achieve. So that's the connection between what we state and what's hidden and how it can affect how we move forward. Examples of this may be your desire, your intention to improve your marriage or relationship. There's such a strong, strong desire to do so, but you are unwilling to keep yourself open to hear what your spouse or your partner has to share with you because it is too painful to hear, or you don't like feeling vulnerable. It's very difficult sometimes to share what you have on your heart, what's bothering you, because you feel vulnerable. So those are the hidden things. We might say we want to improve those relationships, but that vulnerability, that difficulty hearing what others have to say to us, goes against the intentions that we state. There's something comfortable about keeping the status quo. Even though we might want to change things, keeping the status quo goes against those stated emotions or those stated intentions. Or you might want to stay physically fit, as another example, and eat a more healthy diet. But you love to indulge in your favorite ice cream 3 times a week. It is a must. It is a must to have as someone said to me, I just love the experience of eating ice cream. It makes me feel good. So they're not just eating ice cream to eat ice cream, but they enjoy the whole experience of eating ice cream. But they say still that they want to improve their diet. They want to be more physically fit. So how do you reconcile these competing intentions if you want to really move towards making a commitment and fulfilling your commitment? Because we can always make commitments or say we're going to commit to something, but fulfilling it is something else. And this is what we're talking about today, what gets in the way of us fulfilling commitments. Well, as I often say, you have to know yourself to grow yourself. And first, you have to become aware. You have to become aware of the fact that these competing intentions exist. You have to become aware of that. And it takes honest self-exploration to achieve that awareness. And we all have blind spots. We're human. So there's some things that we cannot see. We cannot see them without the help of someone outside of us, an objective, a confidant, a good friend. And even then, sometimes our friends are biased. They want to tell us what we want to hear. That's not someone that you can have this honest, self-exploratory conversation with. So you might want to find a coach, a psychotherapist, depending on what it is, who can help you navigate through those inner feelings that are controlling your behavior. Because whether you deal with them or not, they are controlling your thoughts, your feelings, and your behavior. So once becoming aware of the conflict, which is the first thing, awareness is the key, because then you know what you're facing and decide if you want to face it. But after becoming aware of the conflict, then you're more apt to seriously work on making a true commitment by consciously putting some other measures in place. Because there's a whole process to it. You don't know what you don't know. You become aware of what you didn't know. And now there's some other measures that you have to put into place if you really want to pursue and attain and follow through with that commitment. So let me suggest to you 4 things that you can do. One is maintaining that strong desire. Don't lose that desire of what you want to commit to, whether it's your marriage or your health or your professional career, whatever it is, don't lose that desire. That is very, very important. That's the driving force. And then you want to take deliberate action towards fulfilling that commitment, like allowing yourself to experience that vulnerability that I talked about, necessary to work through the challenges in your relationship that you're trying to improve, or find a safe space with a third and objective professional, or in the case of your health, cutting back from 3 days to 1 day of ice cream, or maybe just once a week. And also the amount, because it doesn't mean that you cut back from 3 to 1 day, but in the 1 day you eat what you would have eaten in 3 days. So there's specific things that you have to do now that you are aware of those competing intentions. You also have to determine how much you're willing to sacrifice personally to keep your commitment. And that can be your time, your money, and other things that interfere. And then you have to act on your commitment to attain what you're seeking. Not on the feelings, because many times you really want to do what you say you want to do, but you just don't feel like. Like yesterday with me and my exercise, I really was not up to doing exercise, but I know what my goal is. I know I want to feel better, physically fit. I want my clothes to fit me well. I just want to feel healthier. So I made myself do it because I kept that commitment. And I know that without action, I will not get there. So acting on your commitment to attain what you're seeking and not on the feelings, following through whether or not you feel like doing that particular thing that you have to do. So I hope that this has added value to you today as you think about those commitments that you have made, that you've had difficulty fulfilling, or those commitments that you want to make, and trying to get a better understanding of some of the reasons why you may not have been successful. Doesn't mean that you have to give up. Keep trying. And how to approach them now that you have some new insight going forward. So I encourage you, as I usually do, to share this with someone who you feel will benefit from it. Also, you can also view my previous Thinking Tuesday messages on my YouTube channel, which is Thinking Tuesday, Cheryl Burton. You can also check my website to view many of the programs that I have that would help you through issues such as these or anything having to do with your personal or your professional growth. You can also book me to speak through my website, which is drcherylburton.com. And also, you can request a complimentary consultation for anything that's on your mind that you would like some guidance with. So reach out, share this. Thank you a lot for joining me, for sharing this. I encourage you to tune back next Tuesday at noon for another message that will add value to you at noon on Tuesday of next week for Thinking Tuesday. Take care. Bye for now. See you next time. Bye-bye.